station, 1370 WOCA.
WOCA.
All right, 24 minutes before 11 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. And in the studio, if you're watching on live streaming video, you see him already. He's sitting there. Rabbi Yossi Hecht is in the studio. He's the rabbi of the Chabad Lubavitch Jewish Center of Marion County. He comes in now and then to teach us about some of the Jewish traditions and mostly about the holidays. Today, that's exactly what we're going to do. And I'm going to take a shot at pronunciations. The Jewish holidays of Sukkot.
Correct.
That's wow. I got it.
That?
And Simchat Torah or Simchat.
Simchat Torah.
Simchat?
Good. You got
Not bad, huh?
You got it.
The older you get, the more you look like a rabbi, by the way. When I first met you, I thought you looked like John Lennon's son. Now you're starting to look more like a rabbi.
Wait to become white now?
Well, good to see you.
Likewise. Good to see you and always good to be here.
And are these holidays surrounded with food? Are they food holidays? Always food. A lot of honey in Judaism, isn't there?
Yeah, we do honey again now.
You do a lot of honey. Is in the Bible where it talks about was it the milk and honey that fell from the sky?
The milk and honey that they had when they entered the land of Israel. They had the manna that fell from the sky.
Oh, manna fell from the sky. What was it actually? Bread? I mean, what was it that fell?
It was a type of bread, and the reason it's called manna because in Hebrew that the word man means what. In other words, they asked each other, what is this? They didn't know what it was.
Oh, really?
And they told each other that this is the food from heaven.
Oh, funny. I mean, funny, that means what? It's kind of like Yucatan Peninsula.
That's what means, yeah.
Yucatan Peninsula was named for that reason. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
The explorers got on there, they found the natives, they said, what do you call this place? And they said, Yucatan, which means we don't understand you. All right, you handed me a card, Simchat Torah Celebration. What is that? Simchat, I'm sorry, Simchat.
Yeah. Simchat Torah Celebration is the second half of the holiday of Sukkot. And we dance with the Torah. We celebrate the receiving of the Torah, which is the Torah scroll that we read from every single Saturday and other times throughout the holidays. It is our scroll that we received from Mount Sinai until today, known as the Bible. And it is written on parchment, just as it always was over the past 3,000 years. And we celebrate it every year, Simchat Torah, where we actually go and we dance with the Torah in celebration when we complete the reading of it every year. In other words, we read an entire cycle, all 54 portions, and then every single year, when it comes this holiday, we complete it, and then we restart it anew, and therefore we celebrate by dancing with the Torah.
Well, right. Do you have to learn the steps, or is it just kind of wild dancing? Is there a move?
However
Does it look
works
like
for you.
Macarena would work?
Whatever works for you.
Macarena? You do Macarena?
I never tried it.
Chicken dance?
Yeah.
This morning we had a guest on, and he was talking about Genesis and how it actually described what science thousands of years later would describe. It was like the same description. And of course, back then you would say, well, how did these people, you would say primitive, how would these primitive people know about the beginning of the universe? Unless, of course, it was inspired by God.
Yeah, well, it always comes to, even the way they explain it, it comes to the Big Bang ultimately, where they have no explanation for that. So
yeah, well, God might have had a big mind. I mean, I always feel like there's got to be intelligence. We were talking about this with the tooth. A child who goes from baby teeth to adult teeth doesn't lose all of them at once.
Right.
See, if we were to design a human being, we would say, all right, they come out, and then we get you new ones. See, but God said, one at a time. 1, 2.
There's some people who still design the teeth that way.
All right, so let's talk about the holidays. And let's see, the first one is Sukkot.
Sukkot, right. Sukkot
It's coming up Monday.
Yeah.
Okay.
As you mentioned, it's always around food. In this case, sometimes it's about what we eat. In this case, it's more about where we eat. We build a special hut called a sukkah, which is a temporary construction with a roof covering made of branches or any material cut from the ground. And for the duration of 7 days, for the duration of the holiday, we eat in the sukkah. Some people even sleep in the sukkah during this time, and we recite a special blessing, and we celebrate in this hut. And it's meant to be temporary to remember our ancestors who traveled in the desert under the clouds of glory during their time of traveling.
I like the clouds of glory.
Yeah.
And so you have a hut in your backyard right now?
We just built one. Yeah, it's beautiful. Some of our friends came to build it.
Are you good at it? At building?
I just said some of our friends came to build it.
Are they good at building? You have to be good at building.
Yeah, but the truth is the structure can really be built, however, and you have some of the most magnificent structures that people build. It's supposed to be a temporary structure, but actually in the University of Florida, they have every single year a sukkah contest with the architect part of the university, and every single year they have a contest of who could build the most interesting structure for the sukkah.
Is it tall?
Nice.
Would I have to bend over?
No, there are a few guidelines. It can't be too tall. It has to be a certain width, a certain height. But otherwise, what it's built out of and all that doesn't really matter.
So I'd have to duck, wouldn't I?
You could make it tall enough for yourself.
You could?
Yeah.
You could make, okay, because I hate that. You walk into these little houses, I gotta bend over.
No, we don't make dog houses.
What do you mean dog houses? Like a child's playhouse. So I mean, all the Jewish families in Ocala have a sukkah right now in their yard?
I don't know if all the Jewish families. It would be nice if they did, but many of them do.
Okay.
This is a wonderful opportunity that the University of Florida is giving their students, because if some students aren't Jewish, at least they'll be able to find out about the Jewish religion, and if they have questions, they're allowed to ask.
Yeah, they also have a competition called Sukkah Survivor, which they have a bunch of students who actually go and live in the sukkah for the 7 days, and whoever's able to make it out for all 7 days is the winner.
Oh, wow.
They go and camp out in the sukkahs, and I don't know what they do with these students, but
That's pretty exciting.
What's hard about that? That sounds pretty easy. I mean, can you still go to a 7-Eleven and get some soda and stuff like that?
I don't know all the rules about it, but I know that they're always walking around with their backpacks, and they're not allowed to eat or sleep anywhere outside of the sukkah.
And the food, is there a specific food, or is it just the place in this case?
During the holiday, we eat any basic holiday foods, and there's nothing specific that we eat, although we do dip our bread in honey, and we eat round bread, which is still tradition from Rosh Hashanah, from the New Year.
Right.
Aside from that, there are also another mitzvah that we do, another commandment, which is called the shaking of the lulav. The shaking of the lulav is God commanded us to take 4 species and to shake them together.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
And they're basically made up of, number one, you take a palm branch, a thin palm branch, without the leaves out, but actually in. It's called a lulav, and then you take 3 hadassim, 3 myrtle branches, and 2 aravot, 2 willow branches, and an etrog, which is a citron, similar to a lemon, but it's not exactly.
Oh.
And we bring them together. Each one of these represent a different type of person, and the idea is to bring unity together, because each one of these represents someone in a different way, and by bringing them together, we show how we can all come together despite our differences.
That's a wonderful idea.
And that also is represented in the sukkah as well, the idea that when we all come in a temporary dwelling, we leave our homes and we come into a temporary dwelling where we can eat together and celebrate together, even though maybe outside of our own comfortable homes. It also represents this idea of unity being together.
Oh, I like that. When you said 4 different species, I thought you meant like a cat, a dog, a mouse, and
a fish.
A fish, yeah. Shake them all together. So, okay, and so that's just, it's a kind of ritual. What is falafel? I know you've explained this before.
Falafel is a Israeli or Mid-Eastern food that is made out of chickpeas, and it's deep fried. A lot of people, Mid-Eastern tradition, love it. It's eaten in a pita together with a salad and hummus, which is also made out of chickpeas, or tahini, which is made out of sesame seeds. And they like to spice it up. They like to put a lot of hot sauce on it.
Do you eat lamb?
Wow.
We eat lamb, yeah.
You do? Robin and I went to get her necklace fixed, and the jewelry store was right next door to
a hero,
Philly. What do you call it? Hiro, whatever that thing is called. And that, we had never had it, believe it or not.
That's called shawarma.
Shawarma.
Yeah.
Have you ever had schmackel? Have you ever had schmeckel? We bought a roll the other day. It was called a schmeckel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a Jewish roll with onions on it?
I wouldn't want to eat that.
Why?
How did it taste?
Tasted good.
Okay,
It had onions on it.
Okay.
I got it at Publix.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was right.
You enjoyed it?
It's right where the Kaiser rolls used to be.
Will you be celebrating these holidays in Ocala and in the villages as well, both places?
We're doing one event in the villages where we actually bring a portable sukkah to the villages and give the opportunity for the villagers to eat inside the sukkah as well. And we'll hopefully have something called a sukkah mobile as well, where we'll put a sukkah on the back of a truck or a trailer and drive around and give people off the street the ability to have a bite in the sukkah as well and make the blessing.
Oh, nice.
Do you ever decorate the sukkah, like Christmas lights or something?
People like to decorate it in many different ways. Yeah, people do that.
What is the hardest thing about being a rabbi? Is it funerals, or, I mean, that's got to be awful. Sometimes, maybe not always.
Oh, what's the hardest thing? What's the hardest thing about being on the radio?
The hardest thing about being on the radio is having a subject that's boring to me.
Mm-hmm.
That's the hardest thing from what we do.
Okay.
But if it's interesting, or if the guest is interesting, then it's great, which is 90% of the time.
Yeah. Well,
you threw it back at me. Now it's your turn. What is the hardest thing about being a rabbi?
The hardest thing about being a rabbi, I'd say, is dealing with people's difficult issues, probably.
So
emotional.
So a marital problem,
emotional issues, or that has to do with what you said, doing funerals as well, and that kind of stuff.
Okay, yeah. Well, because would a marital problem be harder than a funeral?
Yeah,
because you got two people.
It's hard to give a case like that off the bat, because every case is different, but it could be sometimes.
See, I mean, we have fun with you, and it's not all about holidays and eating falafels and having shacks that you drive around in and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. I mean, we've asked pastors the same thing. I mean, it seems like it's a wonderful thing. You're teaching people about God, which is the best thing, which is the most important part of what you do. But at the same time, sometimes we question God when we have things that happen to us that are bad, and then we go to people like you. We say, why would God do that,
Right. Well, when people come up to me and ask, how's it going, do you say, thank God it's going very well? Because I always say, you want to hear the bad stuff, you're not interested in the bad stuff, and you won't do anything about it anyway, so why should I tell you?
But you've got to hear the bad stuff.
Well, I've got to hear it, but other people don't want to hear it. So you're asking me what's hard about it. Well, yeah, there's a lot of difficult things, but we don't go around and talk about it.
Okay. Well,
because not it's gonna help, and not that you'll do anything about it if I tell you.
Well, you're a tough interview. See, I was just talking to you as a friend, Yossi. I was trying to say, what you have a job to do, and every time you come in here, we talk about honey and dipping honey and falafels.
Well, those are the things that you want to hear. Do you want to hear all my problems?
Oh, that's an extremely good point.
No, that's not a good point, because I think it's a fair question. I think it's a fair question. Because you threw it back at me,
right?
And I told you what the hardest part was.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Everyone has challenges in life.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I guess I could do something about your problem. We'll try and keep it interesting.
No, yours is always interesting.
Well,
yours is. You are interesting. And I want to know a little bit more about you.
Well, that's why I always tune in to your show.
Do you play sports?
It would be nice if I did. I'd probably be in better shape. Actually, we have
me too.
We have a Chabad tennis club, and
oh really?
Yeah.
And do you participate?
I play sometimes whenever they can get me to go. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you play? I know you play the horn.
I mean, growing up, I used to play baseball and all
What about
that.
music? Do you do a musical instrument?
I don't play music. I can sing, though, but I don't actually play any instruments.
Okay, all right.
I enjoy the website. Whenever you have something new, I always go to your website, and it's extremely colorful, but it's very, very easy to follow. Everything that you click on, it's right there, right to the point, and it's super easy to follow. And I'm really learning a lot from that.
Yeah, well, I'm glad that you're going on there and learning, and that's what it's there for.
So writing, that's your talent, right? You're a writer.
Writing? I can write.
So you were destined to be a rabbi. I'm trying to figure out if you weren't a rabbi, what would you be doing?
It's a good question. My father is a doctor. Maybe I would have done that.
Ah, okay.
I don't know.
All right.
When young people come to you and they want to learn more about the Jewish faith, even though they've been brought up in a Jewish household with the traditions, are there sometimes some questions they ask you that their parents cannot have the answer, won't have the answers to?
You're saying children?
Yes, as they're growing up in their faith.
We always get questions that many times parents can't have the answer to, and sometimes the children teach the parents, and that's one of the beauty things about today, that everybody can educate each other. Mm-hmm. It wasn't always like that once upon a time.
I'm going to call up Barbara Walters and ask her to invite you onto The View.
Oh, boy.
And we're going to say, would you please...
This is a day I've been waiting for.
Would you please ask the rabbi, while you're on there, what is the hardest part about his job? Because I bet you he answers you. Are you going to say to Barbara, what's the hardest part about your job? You throw it back at her. All right. Well, so we want to invite people October 1st, right? To the temple.
Yeah.
Do you say the temple or temple? Do you drop the word the?
Either way works.
To synagogue.
To synagogue. I like to say synagogue, yeah.
And Monday services are 10 a.m. and the special holiday lunch with falafel is in the sukkah is 12 p.m. And then the Sukkot in the villages, that's Thursday, October 4th, and that's another time to eat and learn from 11:30 till 12:30. Mm-hmm. And that's the portable sukkah
that's the portable sukkah, right?
Talking about. And you need to make reservations for that, right?
We prefer. You don't need to, but we prefer if you let us know.
And October 6th, it says holiday and Shabbat services, right? Mm-hmm. That's something we're also invited to. And then it goes down to October 8th, the Simchat Torah.
Yes, Simchat
Torah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay, and that's when you dance with the Torah.
Yeah.
Are you literally holding the scrolls when you're dancing?
Yes, we hold the scrolls. While they're wrapped up, but yes, we hold the scrolls literally, and then we'll also eventually finish reading it as well.
Okay. And then on the 9th is the morning service and the Kiddush lunch?
The Kiddush lunch, yes.
And Hakafot?
Hakafot. Hakafot is the Hebrew word for dancing.
Oh, more dancing?
Yeah.
You do a lot of dancing.
Mm-hmm. Well, on this holiday we do.
That's good. Some religions don't like dancing.
Well, we always try to be happy and to be joyous. And whenever you're in a happy, joyous mode, that's when you're able to do more and accomplish more. When people are down, they don't want to do much. They're not in a mode of action. When people are active and joyous, that's when they want to do more and accomplish more. And that's why we always try to be joyous.
Do you know what's interesting about different cultures, in addition to the religious differences, but there's also the food and the music. The music and dance, I guess you would say, kind of go as a package. And recently, Robin and I have been kind of exploring accordions, okay? Mm-hmm. And accordion music, when it's like a Jewish folk song, sounds very similar to like a Danish folk song. Have you ever noticed that? Like there's a similar sound to them?
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
I hear where you're coming from.
It's like a lot of minor chords. I don't know if that makes any sense to you. But
yeah, it's not an instrument that you see that often, the accordion.
In Jewish culture, you don't?
No, in general, you don't see it that often. You don't see very many players of the accordion.
No.
At least not that I see.
Yeah, no, mostly guitar.
Yeah, guitar is popular.
Guitar is very popular.
Is there a special place where you put the scrolls after every time you read them?
Yeah,
do you have a special area?
We have an ark in the front of the synagogue, and that's where we always place the scrolls.
Did you ever hear the story about Rabbi? Do you know who Rabbi Keys is? He's the Messianic Jewish. So
right.
I know you differ philosophically there,
right.
but his Torah was spared. His place burned down, and the Torah was left untouched. I thought that was amazing. Yeah,
really.
It goes back. He could probably tell you the story better than I could.
It's an interesting story.
All right, I don't know if we want to go to the phone. Good morning. You're on the air with Rabbi Yossi Hecht.
Yes. Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning.
In the Jewish faith, when a person passes on, there's a certain time that they should be buried, right?
Right. We try and do it right away.
What is the thought behind that idea?
Well, in Jewish faith, we believe that a body is very sacred. Even after one passes away, the body is still sacred. And by going and doing things to the body, and even if you're embalming it or doing things that may seem to others nice, but for the holiness and the sanctity of the soul and the body of the actual person, we believe that the most proper way to do that is by actually burying him right away, rather than keeping him around and let people look at him, etc., etc. We feel that that's not the most appropriate way for the body on its own.
Do you believe in reincarnation or in incineration, burning of the body?
No, we believe that a body has to be buried.
Buried whole?
Yes.
Okay, fine. Well, thank you very much for your answer.
Thank you for your question.
Yeah, you bet. Bye now.
Yeah, I knew that in the neighborhood I grew up in New York, obviously when the Jewish families would have somebody pass away in their family, it was quick.
Right.
And like the Catholic families, it's kind of drawn out. And
yeah, in the Jewish faith, we believe that's not considered a sacred way of dealing with the body. Again, other religions may feel otherwise. In the Jewish tradition, we believe that we try and play around with the body, so to say, the least possible.
Yeah. It's kind of like shaking up those four species, and
yeah.
we're all in this world together, but
exactly.
we need to be together harmoniously.
I wish more people would adhere to that tradition that you do of the shaking of everything together, because that really would solve a lot of problems, I think.
Yeah, well, each one represents a different type of person.
Mm-hmm. And that also makes a person reflect within themselves, because so many times people will point fingers at other people and just neglect to realize they might have some not so nice attributes.
Right, and the reason that each of these species are specified as they are is because each of them within their own have a certain sense of unity within their own species. For example, the palm branch, every single branch within the palm is all made up of two. You're able to actually split every single leaf. Every single leaf is made up of two, which shows unity. The citron is one of the only fruits that is actually able to survive all weather. It's able to survive throughout the entire year, also showing the idea of unity. The myrtle branches, if anyone has ever seen, it's a branch that they have three leaves actually that grow out from the exact same spot on the branch. And the willow also, the way they grow is also in a similar way of growing all together.
Do they all grow around here?
You can grow them all in Florida.
I think they do, yeah. So around the world, do Jewish people from around the world have to get them sent to them?
Yeah, well, we actually have a tradition with the citron to actually use ones that come from Italy.
Oh,
really?
Nice.
Some use them from Jerusalem, but we have a tradition to have them from Italy. And so there are people that go to Italy every year, and they bring back with them hundreds and hundreds of these, and they sell them here in the States.
Gosh.
Did you see Dan's motorcycle upstairs with the sidecar on it? The pink.
I'll have to go check it out. Oh, yes, I did.
You did see them?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
I just reminded myself of it because Dan walked in and you've got pink headphones on. I just remembered. He just sold it on eBay, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Is that in honor of something special? The pink?
I think the guy who's buying it is with the breast cancer awareness group. So
that's what I thought.
Yeah. Well, always good to have you in the studio. How do we get a hold of you? And phone number, website, and all that other stuff?
Phone number 352-291-2218. Again, 291-2218. And our website, JewishMarion, as in MarionCounty.org. JewishMarion.org.
Okay, Rabbi Yossi Hecht, good to see you.
Good to be on the air.
What's the best part of being a rabbi?
Best part of being a rabbi?
Yeah, get to do radio shows?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you for coming in. We'll take a little break and we'll be right back.
Hi, my name is Doug Smith. I'm 51 years old. I was born with Down syndrome. When I was a kid, I was in the Special Olympics and showed the world that my mother's right. Love can do amazing things. Show some love to my new friend, Miami Dolphins running back Don Nunningham. He's going to tell you how you can help someone just like me by supporting the Special Olympics.